The galaxy is a vast and brutal place. The various empires that occupy it are ancient and ruthless, each one claiming its place at the top through sheer power and cunning. The Zorvian Empire stands at the pinnacle with their unmatched technology and military might for centuries. They have crushed any opponent who dared challenge them. Their reputation as the most advanced and brilliant species in the universe is well earned. They have conquered countless star systems, leaving no room for doubt about their superiority. But as their empire expands, it encounters new and unexpected species that defy the conventional wisdom of galactic dominance. And among these strange new creatures are the humans. The Zorvians first take notice of humanity when a small human fleet, led by Captain Claire Harris, faces off against a Zorvian scout ship in a remote region of space. To HFY Sci-Fi, the Zorvian Tactician, tasked with overseeing their empire's military operations, this is nothing more than a nuisance at first, an insignificant skirmish that will end with a quick and decisive victory for the mighty Zorvian forces. But when the battle ends and the Zorvian scout ship is destroyed, something catches HFY Sci-Fi off guard. The humans didn't follow the usual patterns. They didn't fight the way any sane strategist would have expected. Their tactics were chaotic yet effective, unpredictable yet precise. The Zorvian ships had expected an easy victory, yet were forced to retreat with heavy damage in what should have been a straightforward mission. This should have been nothing more than a minor setback for HFY Sci-Fi, but instead it stirs something deeper. The humans are primitive in every sense. Their ships are crude, their technology is inferior, and yet they fought with an almost reckless audacity that no one had anticipated. It makes no sense to HFY Sci-Fi. How could they have lost to this race? These humans are nothing more than children playing at war with no understanding of the galactic order. HFY Sci-Fi brushes it off as a fluke. Perhaps the humans simply got lucky, but deep down a nagging thought lingers. What if there is something more to this unexpected victory? What if they are not as weak as they seem? After all, HFY Sci-Fi has seen the great tacticians of the galaxy fall to their own arrogance time and again. Surely the humans can't be a real threat. Still, the incident weighs on HFY Sci-Fi's mind as they are given a new assignment by the Zorvian Emperor. The task is to lead the full-scale invasion of Earth and eradicate humanity once and for all. This will be a mission to restore the Empire's honor and prove that HFY Sci-Fi's brilliance is without question. The humans will be crushed, and the galaxy will be reminded once again of the greatness of the Zorvian Empire. HFY Sci-Fi begins planning the invasion with meticulous detail. Every possible outcome is accounted for, every variable is analyzed, and the attack is set to commence within weeks. But even as they finalize their strategy, a small, almost unnoticeable feeling begins to gnaw at them. Could the humans really be more than they appear? It's a thought they quickly dismiss, but it stays in the back of their mind, something they refuse to acknowledge as the preparations continue. The Zorvian Empire is about to take its first step toward the extinction of humanity, but in the back of HFY Sci-Fi's mind, something is stirring, something they will soon regret ignoring. The Zorvian Empire's war machine begins its preparations for the invasion of Earth. HFY Sci-Fi stands at the center of it all. Their reputation as the most brilliant tactician in the galaxy is well known, and they are determined to prove once again that their genius cannot be questioned. The plan is elaborate and flawless. Every possible outcome has been predicted and countered. The invasion will be swift and decisive. Humanity will have no chance to resist. HFY Sci-Fi is convinced of the superiority of their strategy. They will land on Earth with overwhelming force and crush the human forces in one fell swoop. Their advanced technology will render any human resistance meaningless. They are confident that no species in the galaxy has the creativity or intelligence to outsmart them, especially not a primitive race like humanity. Humanity's flaws are clear to HFY Sci-Fi. They are technologically backward. Their ships are small and weak. Their weapons are crude compared to the precision and firepower of the Zorvian fleet. They have no hope of standing against the might of the Empire. Yet the nagging thought from the previous battle still lingers in the back of HFY Sci-Fi's mind. A small voice whispering, what if the humans are not as weak as they seem? What if they can find a way to challenge the Zorvian supremacy? HFY Sci-Fi refuses to let this thought interfere with their plans. they push it aside as the result of overthinking and focus on their ultimate goal. The invasion will proceed exactly as planned. The Zorvian fleet is ready to strike. Earth's defenses are minimal, and the humans are scattered and disorganized. Their leaders are inexperienced and easily manipulated. The war will be over before it even begins. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Claire Harris has been working tirelessly to prepare humanity's defenses. The recent skirmish with the Zorvians has proven that they can't rely on conventional tactics. They must adapt to survive. The humans have no illusions about the strength of the Zorvian Empire. They know they are outmatched in terms of technology, but they also know that humans are not easily beaten. They have a unique advantage, something the Zorvian tacticians have yet to fully understand: their ability to think outside the box and adapt to any situation. The human fleet is a patchwork of various ships and technologies cobbled together with limited resources, but the humans are resourceful. They studied the Zorvian tactics from the previous skirmish and have already begun developing strategies to counter them. They know they can't beat the Zorvians in a straight-up fight, but they can outsmart them. They will use every advantage at their disposal, from the terrain of space to their own unpredictability, to turn the tide in their favor. As the Zorvian fleet approaches Earth, the humans prepare for the worst. They know they will be vastly outnumbered and outgunned, but they are determined to make the invasion as costly as possible. The first battle begins, and the humans spring their trap. Using their knowledge of the enemy's tactics, they create confusion and chaos among the Zorvian ranks. The Zorvian fleet is momentarily thrown off balance. HFY watches the battle unfold from their command ship, confident that the humans will soon be crushed. But as the skirmish continues, they begin to notice something strange. The humans are not following the expected patterns. They are unpredictable. Their movements don't make sense. They are not fighting with brute force, but with cunning and innovation. HFY refuses to acknowledge the truth. They cannot admit that humanity has the potential to challenge the Zorvian Empire. The first battle ends in a minor victory for the humans, but the cost to the Zorvian fleet is significant, and it shakes HFY's confidence in their plan. For the first time in a long while, they begin to question whether the humans might be more dangerous than they ever imagined. The Zorvian fleet advances toward Earth with the full force of the Empire behind them. HFY's confidence is unwavering. They believe that the humans' previous victory was nothing more than luck, a fleeting moment that will be erased once the full might of the Zorvian military is unleashed. Earth stands little chance against the overwhelming power of the invasion force. The first wave of Zorvian ships arrives in Earth's orbit. Their massive warships dwarf the human vessels, and their weapons are capable of obliterating entire cities with a single shot. As the human fleet assembles to defend its home, the disparity in firepower is clear. The humans are outmatched, but they are determined to put up a fight. General Claire Harris stands at the helm of Earth's defense strategy. Her mind races as she watches the Zorvian ships approach. She knows that the human forces cannot engage the enemy head-on, but she has learned from the previous skirmish that the strength of humanity lies in its ability to adapt and think creatively. They will not win through brute force, but through ingenuity and surprise. The first battle begins as Zorvian ships open fire on the human fleet. The humans respond with their own weapons, but their shots barely scratch the surface of the heavily armored Zorvian vessels. Despite the overwhelming odds against them, the human forces hold their ground, fighting with a mixture of desperation and determination. But then something unexpected happens. The humans begin to move in ways that confuse and frustrate the Zorvian commanders. They do not follow any known patterns of warfare. They do not behave like any enemy the Zorvians have encountered before. The human ships dart in and out of the battle, launching hit-and-run attacks from unexpected angles. They use the terrain of space to their advantage, weaving through asteroid fields and debris clouds to avoid the enemy's deadly weapons. HFY watches in disbelief as the human fleet evades their attempts to lock onto them. The Zorvian ships are faster and more powerful, but the humans are unpredictable. They use every trick in the book to throw the Zorvians off balance, creating false targets and decoys to confuse their sensors. They launch attacks on supply lines and key targets deep within the Zorvian fleet, forcing the larger ships to split their forces in order to deal with the threats. Arvuxai can't understand what they are seeing. They had anticipated everything, every possibility had been accounted for, yet the humans refuse to fight by the rules. They do not fight as expected. They do not fight with the same tactics the Zorvians have seen from other races. They fight with an almost wild energy that is impossible to predict. Despite the overwhelming power of the Zorvian fleet, the human forces continue to cause significant damage to key components of the invasion force. The battle stretches on for hours with neither side gaining a clear upper hand, but the Zorvians are beginning to feel the pressure. The humans' ability to create chaos and exploit weaknesses is taking its toll. Arvuxai orders reinforcements to arrive, but even as the second wave of Zorvian ships joins the fray, the humans continue to fight with unrelenting resolve. They force the Zorvian fleet into retreat at several points, and for the first time Arvuxai starts to question their own plan. The humans are not supposed to be capable of this level of resistance. The first clash ends with the Zorvian fleet retreating temporarily. The damage inflicted on their forces is significant, and Arvuxai knows that this is only the beginning of a much larger struggle for dominance. The Tactician refuses to admit it, but deep down they feel the stirrings of doubt. Could the humans really be a threat after all? The Zorvian fleet retreats to regroup after the first clash. They suffer significant losses, and for the first time in their long history, the Empire's forces have been dealt a blow by an underdog enemy. Humanity's unexpected resilience is starting to sink in for Arvuxai. Their pride is wounded, and their mind races with thoughts of what went wrong. The human tactics were strange, but effective. Their unpredictability was something the Zorvians had never encountered before, and it has shaken their confidence to the core. Arvuxai insists that the first battle was a fluke, that the humans were merely lucky, but the damage to the Zorvian fleet is undeniable. The retreat has been costly, and the humans are emboldened by their success. They are no longer the desperate underdogs they were before. They have tasted victory, and now they know they can stand against the Zorvian Empire. As the Zorvian fleet begins to resupply and repair its damaged ships, Arvuxai begins to make plans for the next phase of the invasion. But there is a sense of urgency that wasn't there before. The humans are proving to be far more resourceful and dangerous than originally anticipated. Their tactics have thrown off the Zorvian commanders and made a mockery of their carefully laid plans. Arvuxai decides to change tactics this time. They will not underestimate humanity. They will strike with overwhelming force and ensure that there is no escape for the humans. They believe that by overwhelming them with sheer firepower and numbers, they can crush the human resistance once and for all. No more tricks, no more creativity, just brute strength. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Claire Harris and her team are hard at work analyzing the Zorvian fleet's movements and preparing for the next confrontation. The human forces know that they are still vastly outgunned, but they have also learned valuable lessons from the first battle. They know they must continue to use their unpredictability to their advantage. The human ships are small but nimble. Their tactics must be focused on outsmarting the enemy, not outmatching them in terms of firepower. Harris orders her fleet to begin moving in unconventional patterns. Their goal is to keep the Zorvians off balance, to make them chase shadows instead of focusing on a direct confrontation. She knows that they cannot afford to make the same mistakes. The Zorvian tacticians are brilliant, but the humans have one key advantage. They can think outside the box in ways the Zorvians cannot anticipate. The second battle begins, and this time the Zorvian fleet is ready, or so they think. They unleash wave after wave of firepower on the human fleet, but the humans are already gone. Their ships darting through the battlefield like insects, avoiding the deadly beams of energy that streak through space. The Zorvian forces try to follow, but the humans are too fast. They use asteroid fields, debris clouds, and even the gravity wells of nearby planets to hide and regroup before striking again. Arvuxai watches the battle unfold from their command ship. With mounting frustration, the humans are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. They cannot be pinned down. They cannot be predicted. Their tactics are like nothing the Zorvian Empire has ever encountered, and for the first time in a long while, Arvuxai feels their control slipping. The humans launch a series of surprise attacks on key Zorvian vessels, damaging their engines and weapons systems with precision strikes. They don't fight like warriors, they fight like shadowy tricksters, exploiting every weakness in the Zorvian defenses. The Zorvian fleet falters again, their plans fall apart under the weight of humanity's innovation. As the battle comes to a close, the Zorvian fleet is forced to retreat once more. The damage is heavy, and HFY is left stunned. The humans have done it again. They have forced a retreat and inflicted more damage on the Zorvian fleet than anyone could have predicted. The tide is shifting, and for the first time HFY is unsure of what the next move should be. They have underestimated humanity before, and now they must face the consequences of their arrogance. After the second defeat of the Zorvian fleet, HFY finds themselves at a crossroads. The humans are no longer a simple nuisance, they are a legitimate threat to the invincible empire. The loss of another battle has shaken the confidence of the Zorvian leadership, and cracks are beginning to show in the once unshakable belief that their superiority is unquestionable. The empire is used to crushing all in its path, but humanity is different. They do not fight with traditional tactics. They do not submit to the empire's overwhelming power, and this unpredictability has been their greatest weapon. HFY's reputation as the most brilliant tactician in the Empire is now being questioned. No longer is there blind faith in their strategies. The Emperor himself demands answers after 2 failed attempts to crush humanity, and now the pressure mounts on HFY to fix the situation. The tactical genius who has led the Empire to victory after victory must somehow turn the tide against an enemy that seems to defy logic and expectation. HFY retreats to their private quarters to reconsider their strategy. They replay the battles in their mind over and over again, searching for the flaw, the one mistake that has led them to this point. But the answers do not come. The humans do not make mistakes. They are not predictable. And worst of all, they are learning. They are adapting faster than the Zorvians thought possible. HFY knows that the Zorvian Empire cannot afford to fail again. The Empire's reputation is at stake. The Emperor's patience is running thin, and the galaxy is watching with bated breath as the once mighty Zorvian fleet is outwitted by a species they considered inferior. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans are not resting on their laurels. They know that the Zorvians will strike again. They are preparing for a third and possibly final battle. They have lost ships and resources in the previous encounters, but they have also gained invaluable experience. They now know that the Zorvians will not hesitate to unleash their full might, and so they must be ready to adapt once more. General Claire Harris and her advisors meet in secret, planning for the next wave of attacks. The first 2 victories have bolstered human morale, but the reality is that they cannot continue to rely on luck. They must change their tactics once again. The humans cannot outgun the Zorgians. They cannot face them in a straight-up battle, but they can exploit the one thing the Zorgians have overlooked: their reliance on sheer strength and overconfidence. Harris proposes a new strategy. It will be bold and risky, but it is their only chance to win. She suggests that they target the heart of the Zorgian fleet, the command ship where HFY and the High Command are directing operations. If they can disrupt the chain of command, if they can strike at the core of the Zorgian strategy, they might be able to cripple the Empire's ability to fight back. This will not be a battle for survival, but an all-out gamble to end the invasion once and for all. The plan is set into motion, and the human forces begin to assemble their forces in secret, while the Zorvian fleet regroups for their third assault on Earth. The humans are preparing their own surprise. They know that the Zorvians will be expecting them to fight with the same tactics they have used before, but this time they will be the ones in control. They will be the ones to turn the tables. As the human fleet gets ready to launch their daring assault on the Zorgian command ship, they are filled with a mixture of fear and determination. They know that the odds are against them. They know that failure means the end of humanity, but they also know that this is their chance to end the war and prove once and for all that no empire is invincible. no matter how powerful or advanced they are. As the humans finalize their plans for the bold strike against the Zorvian command ship, the tension among their ranks is palpable. They know that the success of the mission could turn the tide of the war, but failure means certain destruction. Their strategy hinges on one key factor: the element of surprise. The Zorvian fleet believes that the humans will continue to use their hit-and-run tactics, that they will evade and delay as they have before. But this time, the humans are going to take the fight directly to the heart of the Zorvian war machine. General Claire Harris oversees the final preparations for the mission. She knows the risks, but also understands that this is the only chance humanity has to break the Zorvian stranglehold. The human fleet has been assembled with an unorthodox mix of ships, small and agile vessels designed for quick strikes and stealthy maneuvering. They are armed with the best weapons humanity can offer, but they are still far outclassed by the sheer firepower of the Zorvian fleet. Yet their greatest weapon remains their ability to adapt and innovate in the heat of battle. As the human fleet begins its approach to the Zorvian command ship, they move under the cover of darkness, hiding behind the debris fields of a nearby moon, hoping to slip past the heavy defenses of the Zorvian fleet. Unnoticed, their mission is clear: infiltrate the command ship, disable its systems, and disrupt the flow of orders throughout the Zorvian forces. Meanwhile, on the Zorvian flagship, HFY sits in the command center, watching the vast expanse of the battlefield. With a sense of growing unease, they have seen the humans' tactics before they know that their opponent will not fight in the conventional way. But what they fail to understand is just how far the humans are willing to push their ingenuity. They believe that the human fleet is simply trying to buy time to regroup and retreat to safety. They do not anticipate that the humans would have the audacity to directly attack the heart of their operations. As the human ships draw closer to the command ship, they begin to split into smaller groups, their movements carefully coordinated. Each group takes a different route toward their target. Some slip through the blind spots in the Zorvian fleet, while others use feints and decoys to mislead the enemy into thinking they are pursuing a larger force. The Zorvian sensors struggle to keep up with the unpredictable movements of the humans, who are now right under their noses. HFY orders the fleet to go on high alert, but the damage has already been done. The humans have successfully infiltrated the outer perimeter of the command ship's defenses, and now they are closing in on their target. The humans strike with precision, their ships darting in and out of the command ship's defenses, planting explosives and disabling key systems with expert precision. The Zorvian forces scramble to respond, but they are already too late. The attack is a success. The Zorvian flagship begins to lose power, and its systems start to fail as chaos erupts across the Zorvian fleet. HFY can only watch in horror as their greatest achievement unravels before their eyes. The humans have struck directly at the heart of the Empire, and in doing so they have shattered the Zorvian command structure. With the loss of their command ship, the Zorvian fleet is thrown into disarray. They struggle to reorganize and communicate. While the humans press their advantage, the fleet is no longer a well-oiled machine, but a collection of disjointed forces fighting to hold on to whatever fragments of order remain. As the human fleet continues to exploit the weaknesses they have created, the Zorvian Empire begins to feel the true weight of their mistake. HFY stands frozen as they realize that the Empire has been irrevocably changed. The humans have done what no one thought possible. They have struck the heart of the Zorvian war machine, and now the galaxy will see that the Empire's dominance is not absolute, it is fragile, and it can be toppled. The human fleet moves in secret as they approach the Zorvian command ship. Their plan is audacious and dangerous, but it is their last hope of turning the tide of the war. The Zorvians are not prepared for such a bold move, and the humans use this to their advantage. They have learned to fight with precision and cunning. They have learned that survival depends not on strength, but on striking where the enemy is weakest. General Claire Harris stands at the helm of the operation. Her mind is focused on the task ahead. The risk is immense. If they fail, the human race is doomed. But if they succeed, they can cripple the Zorvian Empire and end the invasion for good. The humans have studied the enemy's movements and tactics. They know that the Zorvian fleet relies heavily on their command ship, the heart of their strategy. If they can destroy it, they will shatter the Empire's control and scatter the remaining forces. As the human ships approach the Zorvian command ship, they move through the darkness of space, avoiding detection using their superior stealth technology. To stay off the Zorvian radar, they are ghosts in the void, slipping past patrols and sensors undetected. Their hearts race as they draw closer to their target. The closer they get, the more dangerous the mission becomes. One wrong move, and they will be exposed to the full wrath of the Zorvian fleet. HFY stands aboard the command ship, unaware of the human fleet closing in. They are busy coordinating the final stages of the invasion, preparing for a large-scale assault on Earth. They believe that the humans will once again fall before the might of the Zorvian Empire. They are confident that their fleet will crush any remaining resistance. They think that victory is inevitable, but they are wrong. The humans know that they are fighting against the clock. They cannot afford to hesitate. They cannot afford to be seen. The plan must unfold perfectly, or everything will be lost. With each passing minute, the tension builds as they near the command ship. The time to strike is almost upon them. The human fleet is within range, and Harris gives the signal. The attack begins. The humans launch a coordinated assault on the Zorvian command ship, striking with precision and speed. Their ships move like shadows as they fire on the critical systems of the command ship, disrupting the power grid and communication lines. Inside the ship, chaos erupts as the Zorvian forces scramble to respond, but it is too late. The humans have already inflicted critical damage to the ship's central control systems. HFY is thrown into a state of panic as their perfect strategy begins to unravel. They try to regain control, but the damage is too severe. Their fleet begins to falter as the command ship systems go offline. The Zorvian Empire is suddenly without direction, and without leadership. Their once proud military is thrown into disarray. As the human fleet continues its assault on the command ship, the Zorvian forces are left without coordination, and the humans press their advantage. They use the confusion to target key vulnerabilities in the Zorvian fleet, disrupting their supply lines and crippling their ability to fight back. HFY realizes too late that they have underestimated humanity. Once again, the humans are not following the rules. They are not fighting with brute strength. They are fighting with intelligence and precision. They are exploiting the one weakness the Zorvians never considered. They are attacking the very foundation of the Empire's power, and the Empire is crumbling beneath their feet. With each passing moment, the Zorvian fleet weakens, and the humans draw closer to their ultimate victory. The invasion is falling apart. The dream of Zorvian domination is slipping away, and HFY can do nothing to stop it. The Zorvian Empire is in chaos. The human fleet has dealt a crippling blow to the heart of the invasion. The once mighty command ship lies in ruins, and the Zorvian forces are scattered and leaderless across the vast expanse of space. It was supposed to be a quick and decisive victory, but instead, the Zorvian Empire has found itself facing an opponent it can't understand and can't defeat. HFY stands in the command center of their flagship, staring at the view of space beyond the shattered remains of the Zorvian command ship. The hum of alarms and frantic orders fill the air, but HFY remains motionless. Their mind races through the events of the last few days. Their every plan, every tactic has failed them. The humans have outsmarted them at every turn, and now the Empire's strength is faltering under the weight of their own overconfidence. The pain of failure is overwhelming for HFY. They have led the Empire through countless victories. Their brilliance as a tactician has been unquestioned, but now their reputation is in ruins. The Empire's invasion of Earth has become an embarrassing disaster, and they alone are responsible for the failure. They cannot escape the crushing reality that they have underestimated humanity in every possible way. As the human fleet continues to push forward, the Zorvian forces are forced into retreat. They try to regroup, but the damage has been done. The humans have shattered their command structure, and without leadership, the Zorvian fleet is little more than a collection of scattered ships, struggling to defend themselves from the relentless human attacks. HFY knows that the end is near. There is no way for the Zorvian Empire to recover from this blow. They can still fight, but they can no longer win. They can no longer maintain their claim of invincibility. The humans have proven that they can take on the might of the Empire and prevail, and in that moment HFY knows that the galaxy will never be the same again. On Earth, General Claire Harris watches as the Zorvian forces retreat in disarray. The final battle has been won, but the war is not yet over. The humans have done what no one thought possible. They have turned the tide of the invasion and driven the Zorvians from their world. But Harris knows that the cost of victory has been high. The human fleet has suffered tremendous losses, and the fight has taken a heavy toll on their resources. But as Harris looks out over the battlefield, she sees something that fills her with hope. The humans have proven their strength, not through sheer force, but through their adaptability, their innovation, and their will to fight for their survival. They have shown the galaxy that no matter how powerful the Empire, no matter how overwhelming the odds, humans will always find a way to fight back. The Zorvian Empire may have underestimated humanity, but they will never forget the lesson they learned that day. The human race is not to be trifled with, and their resistance is not something that can be crushed with brute force alone. The Empire has been humbled, and the galaxy will never view humanity the same way again. As the last Zorvian ships vanish into the depths of space, the humans begin to rebuild and prepare for whatever comes next. The war may be over, but the scars of battle remain, and the humans know that their victory is just the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the galaxy, a chapter where the name of humanity will no longer be ignored.